So I'm here with Captain Demmers of the Netherlands Air Force. He is one of our liaisons on this exercise here at Ramstein Flight 24. And I'm going to ask him some questions specific to the overarching exercise. And I'm very happy that you were able to sit down with me for this. So first question is, why do these exercises matter to each individual country in NATO? What is the benefit to, say, a citizen of the Netherlands or an American citizen to have this capability with all of these countries coming together on this platform?
Yeah, that's a good question. NATO is a defensive alliance, as you know, and we always strive to get air superiority. That means we have freedom of movement for troops, jets, etc. This type of exercise is a counter A2AD exercise. That means counter anti-access area denial exercise. That means we don't have freedom of movement in those areas. That can be achieved by enemy fighter jets, air defense systems, cruise missiles systems, ships, etc. And when we don't have those freedom of movement, we want to regain air superiority in those areas. And then we do this with counter A2AD operations. And what we are doing then is that we are trying to neutralize all military infrastructure. We want to deter the enemy, and we want to regain the freedom for our own troops. And an exercise like Ramstein Flight actually contributes to this very complex and challenging missions. And what's important for all our allies is that we train this as good as we can. If it's really needed, we are prepared, we're ready, and we are ready to protect all our more than a billion citizens.
So we're in a kind of a unique situation where this aircraft is specifically NATO owned. That is not something you guys do for all pieces of equipment. Like, there's no NATO tanks, there's no NATO fighter jets. Why is this capability within NATO to have their own AWACS platforms so important to the defense of the allies within NATO?
NATO AWACS is a so-called high valuable asset. That means it's very important for the alliance. That's why we should treat it like that. It's a very expensive airplane with huge capabilities, and all the nations who are participate in the program can benefit of those capabilities. So we share the resources to have a platform that can look more than 500 kilometers far, can see all air movements, can track ships, and provides information that we actually can use to our policymakers or to our decision makers to actually give them a good situation awareness what's happening on the battlefield. And what I think about this capability to share is that we have more nations flying together. We have up to 90 flying nations, and having them all on board working together, that gives a very strong signal of unity. And with this signal, I think we deter as well our adversaries, because we show we stand here together and we are making sure that our alliance is safe.
So you talk about how diverse the crew is here. I think we talked earlier and you said there's something like 17 different countries, I believe, represented in the total operation of this AWACS, from the ground crew to the operators to the pilots. It's all very cool from a perspective of multinationalism. Are there any challenges that come with having that aspect of multinationalism, specific to potentially dealing with a foe that may not have that, where a foe is just their own equipment, their own personnel, dealing in their own bubble? We have multiple countries, multiple cultures, multiple languages all coming together. What challenges do you see there?
Well, first of all, I would say the multinational aspect is not a negative aspect. I would say there's a chance and opportunity. We're bringing all different types of capabilities, experience, cultures all together, and I think that diversity makes us stronger. Sometimes you need a little bit more Dutch guide, sometimes you need more US approach, and all that can draw all those powers out one of group. Of course, it has a small disadvantage or challenge, as you said, that not everybody speaks the same language, But that's why we train together. We do interoperability exercise to improve that. And yes, working with different type of systems give also technical challenges. But that's why we set so-called NATO standards, so we are able to operate with each other. We have all the same link systems. We use all the same ammunition, and that's make even that we have different nations working together. We can work together, and that makes us stronger. And if someone needs something from the other, we are able to provide it in every way.
Do you see opportunities outside of NATO, potentially NATO partners for peace? We have allies that aren't a part of NATO. You talk about one of the big ones is Ukraine, but also in the Pacific we have the Japanese, the South Koreans, all allies to individual countries, including the U.S. Do you see opportunities to work with them as well and provide capability from this platform to them?
Well, what we saw is that recently Sweden and Finland joined us. They were a long time already part of for peace, and they have an extending capabilities, military capacity to bring into the alliance. So I would say, I think it can only make stronger to work together with partners and allies. And for the future, who knows how it turns out. But at the moment, I'm really happy that Sweden and Finland joined us recently.
So do you see benefit specifically to Ramstein flag here? We are forward deployed, or you guys are forward deployed to Greece. Normally you're based out of Germany. Why not just conduct the operation out of Germany? Why come to Greece and do the exercise from Greece instead of where you guys are normally based?
Let's say each environment gives also new challenges. You have weather challenges, national regulation, etc. So all those trainings, of course, they can be done in the same area, but you need to bring all those assets from all over the world together to one location to train together. And after each mission, you will debrief together. You will talk what did go good, what did go well, and what can go better. And then the day after, you will evaluate and you will do the same over, but only better. And that's, I think, what's improving our capabilities and our capacity. And yeah, you can better do that together with everybody on the same, at least in the same location.
So we're currently circling over, I believe, a combination of the Ionian and Aegean Sea.
I'm not sure. I don't know how to see called, but
the Eastern Mediterranean, roughly.
Yes.
From a strategic perspective for this exercise and NATO writ large, how important is this region to the NATO mission? This Eastern Mediterranean, Greece, Aegean Sea, kind of the southern Europe, most portions of Europe.
Yeah. As already said, NATO is a defensive alliance, and that means we are able to protect every inch of our territory. So that means we have to do it in the north, we have to do it in the west, in the east, in the south, and you have to train in every area to become better as you were before. And that's why I think it's a unique opportunity now to train in Greece. And next year AWACS Flight will happen in the Netherlands, and I think we get same value in lessons learned as this exercise.
So you talk about NATO being defensive. It's a defensive in nature. We only engage if we are attacked. You said it, President Biden has said it, we will defend every inch of NATO space. However, in this exercise, there is an aspect of offensive requirement where we will have to go and attack sites on the ground, enemy sites, enemy SAMs, enemy aircraft. How do you reconcile the defensive nature of NATO with the need for us to be offensive in the exercise as well as in real-world combat operations?
Our goal is always to reach air superiority, and that's our main goal, to really operate in certain areas. And if that area is restricted to move, then you might need an offensive operation like Contra A to AD, but that is carried out by the defense organization NATO, and that means we are just only doing that to defend our own territory, and that's still our starting point.
So obviously we know the geopolitical situation with regard to Russia and Ukraine. Where do you guys fit into that when it comes to defending borders of NATO nations and our allies? How does those operations with regard to Ukraine, Russia, how does that impact your mission here?
Yes, since the unprovoked invasion from Russia in Ukraine, we directly increase our readiness at our eastern border of the alliance. We directly send our jets up to the air. Even the AWACS are flying constantly to monitor the airspace at the borders of the alliance, because we are here to protect our alliance. We do that at the borders, and doing that, I think it gives a strong signal to our citizens, but I think also it gives a strong signal to our adversaries. Hey, we have a NATO jet with a big NATO sticker on the side, with multiple nations flying aboard. We are here, we know what you're doing, we are protecting our alliance, and we are ready if it needs to be, but we are still defensive.
So a bit earlier you talked about the interoperability. On this aircraft specifically, you have multinational capability, but we're one small piece of a larger exercise that involves French Rafales, we have Greek Mirages in the air, we have Eurofighters flying, US F-35s, F-16s, etc. Can you speak a bit about the interoperability of this aircraft with all of those nations, some of the benefits, the challenges, just in general, what the feeling of doing this for really the first time in this environment with all of these nations operating their own fighters together?
Yes, during AWACS Flight there are 12 nations participating. We have more than 130 aircrafts in one exercise and one scenario, and our role is we are controlling aircrafts, we are providing them additional information, we are providing them target priorities, and we are coordinating the airspace. All those things we have to do with multiple nations, so we also training each other in doing it all together with different nations, with different systems, with different capabilities, and some assets you will use for certain purposes, and the other asset you will use something else. And that's, you can only get better on this when you train together. And that's why I think the value of this ransom flag is so big, is that we do that in a counter A to A peace scenario with many diverse assets, and well, for us as a unique opportunity to have all those different capabilities under our control, and working with the French AWACS, yeah, the coordination, it's super important to train, and I think we only can get better on it, and that's why it makes so many unique exercises.
When it comes to this AWACS, what is your role managing the battlefield? Are you managing the exercise? That's what you just listed, a lot of aircraft. This is the nerve center, the brain of that, correct? How are you managing that, and in what capacity are you guys managing the OP4, the Red Forces, or the enemy, and the Blue 4? How is that happening from this flight deck?
Yeah. We also call our aircraft air battle management platform, so that makes it has multiple capabilities. We have a huge radar, we can see very far, way farther than the average fighter jet. So we can provide them additional information they don't have. We can see hundreds of kilometers far, and we can already say, hey, watch out, on your right side, there are enemies coming in. We're controlling those different groups of fighters. We're providing them essential information that they need to know to do to fulfill their mission. During this exercise, we can control blue air, we can control red air. At the moment when we are actually now talking, we are controlling blue forces, and we're trying to help them to succeed the mission. And with all the capabilities we have, we relay communications, we provide data information. You don't even have to talk to provide it. We can send a location of the fighter jets. All that is very, very worthwhile, and I think that makes the exercise, but also the participants, yeah, quite.
So just a a personal question. I generally ask everyone this. What do you find the most personally rewarding in being a part of this? This is a big operation. It's an important operation, extraordinarily important. What do you find personally rewarding about being here, a part of all of this?
What makes me really proud is seeing all those nations working together with the same goal, same mission, and actually we achieve it. That makes me proud, and that makes me proud that I'm wearing this uniform. I'm representing my nation, but everybody else's, and while doing this all together, that makes me extremely.
Well, Captain Demmer, thank you so much for sitting down with me to chat. This is an extraordinary mission. I thank you for being our liaison here and inviting us to be on the aircraft, and just a wonderful experience that you've provided. So just once again, on behalf of all of my followers, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I wish you luck and Godspeed in the future.
Thank you very much, and